How does a person that is led by God avoid the wiles of evil people? This is what we're going to see today in our devotion on Psalm 5. Psalm 5 from verse 1 goes, "To the leader for the flutes, a psalm of David. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Give heed to my sighing. Listen to the sound of my cry, my King and my God. For to you I pray. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. For you are not a God who delights in wickedness. Evil will not sojourn with you. The boastful will not stand before your eyes. You hate all evildoers. You destroy those who speak lies. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and the deceitful. But I, through the abundance of your steadfast love, will enter your house. I will bow down toward your holy temple in awe of you. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. For there is no truth in their mouths. Their hearts are destruction. Their throats are open graves. They flatter with their tongues. Make them bear their guilt, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Because of their many transgressions, cast them out, for they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you, let them ever sing for joy. Spread your protection over them, so that those who love your name may exult in you. For you bless the righteous, O Lord. You cover them with favor as with a shield. This is God's word to us, his people. The first thing we look at, if you have seen my previous videos, is the initial commentary, which is what we mostly base our historical reference or the context in which this song was written. So we here see to the leader for the flutes, a psalm of David. So we understand that this is a psalm of David. So to the leader with the flutes, a psalm of David. Give ear to my words, O Lord, give heed to my sighing. Initially, from the first verse, we understand that the psalmist is sighing, crying out loud to the Lord. What could cause this is another question, which will be answered in the entire chapter, but he is sighing. He is begging, he is petitioning Yahweh to give attention, to pay attention to what is making him sigh, what is making him cry. And this entire verse could be parallelistic with this portion right here, but then we can't say it's synonymous because we see this. It kind of builds up the idea of what the sighing is, what David is doing. He is praying to God. And an interesting thing about God David mentions is, or that we see mentioned here is, in the morning the Lord hears my voice. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. It's very encouraging to be a person that prays in the morning and to be sure that the God to whom you're praying is a God that hears your voice in the morning. So the Lord in the morning, esakuse, which is listens, and David in the morning, parastesome and epopsome, meaning David in the morning, he pleads his case and then he watches. It gives a quietness, gazing towards the quietness in heaven in the morning. I plead my case and then I watch. Why do I do these things? In the morning I'm praying to you. Why am I praying to you? We see this 4. This is a very good marker for us to understand how the psalmist is developing his argument. He says, you are not a God, uchitheos. You are not a God who takes pleasure in wickedness and evil doing and lawlessness. Not only that, but evil does not stay with you as a stranger. This word right here, sojourn, is evil does not even dwell with you as a stranger. It means that evil won't even be presented as a temptation to God, won't even be consideration for God. The boastful, the prideful, the ones that are haughty will not stand before your eyes. You hate all evildoers. I'm on verse 5. And then not only that, you destroy those who speak lies. You destroy every person that speaks lies. And then he abhors. Yahweh abhors andrahaimaton kedolion, bloodthirsty, the deceitful, but directly it would mean the man of blood and the man of deception or treachery. So the man of blood would be bloodthirsty. I have no disagreement. So a treacherous person, a person that is at the ready to end another human's life, Yahweh actively abhors him. Yahweh pushes him away. So we see a boundary within the person of Yahweh right here. What is the boundary? Verse 4 and 5, we see God does not find joy in wickedness. So that's inhospitability. So evil does not sojourn, and wickedness does not give him joy. So wickedness or evil is not allowed to dwell within God's presence. He has a hatred towards the boastful and the evildoers, and then he dedicates to destruction. You destroy. Right here, it's in the Hebrew, it chooses to aved. This word right here, to aved, is to destroy. This word would be used most popularly when God dedicates a people group for destruction. So what this is doing is basically, it is showing us the hatred that God possesses for those who speak lies. Not only this, but Yahweh abhors people that are bloodthirsty and people that are deceitful. So this boundary of inhospitability for wickedness, hatred for evildoers and boastful people, dedicating to destruction those who speak lies, and detesting and abhorring the bloodthirsty and deceitful. These four boundaries is why Yahweh is inapproachable. Not in the morning, not in the evening, but which is kind of confusing because in the morning, God hears the voice of David. God hears the plea of David. So how does David enter into the presence of God? We get to verse 7. This gives us the reason why David enters God's presence. But I, through the abundance of your hesed, it's covenantal mercy. But I, through the abundance of your covenantal mercy, will enter your house through the mercy, through your pity, your compassion. I will bow down before your holy temple in awe of you. So David is saying, because there is a covenant between us, I can enter. There is a fundamentally inappropriate teaching that the New Testament is where grace is. God's grace is found in the New Testament, but Psalm 5 is found in the Old Testament. David does not say, I enter because I have provided the lamb, I have sacrificed for some holy day. The reason I enter, David says, is because of God's grace. Because God allows me to enter. God has pity, God has mercy, God has compassion on me to enter his house. And I will bow down towards God's holy temple in Phobos, which is, this Greek word would not be difficult for an American or any person that uses English as a language to understand. Phobo means it's phobia, phobos. So in the phobia of you, and the ancient Greek phobia is not a bad term. In fear. One of the most popular instances where it's used is the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Arche Sophias phobos theo. This is it. Arche Sophias, the beginning of Sophia, the beginning of wisdom is phobos theo. So how is David entering the presence of Yahweh? It's through phobos theo. What is his petition? David has told us why he enters, how he enters. He has shown us every single thing we should know until this point. But what is his petition? His petition is this verse right here, verse 8. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me. At the beginning, I asked how we could shun the seduction of evil men, and it is primarily by praying to God. But the reason David prays here is fairly evident, and he's begging God to lead him in righteousness, in the righteousness of God, the righteousness that comes from God because of his enemies. Now, David tells us why he wants God to lead him in his righteousness for the sake of his enemies. The reason he wants to be led by the Lord in the righteousness of God is because his enemies are doing something, and there is a list of things that we see. And David says, in their mouth there is no truth. In their heart there is just vanity, worthlessness. And their throats are open graves, ready to swallow up human lives. And they flatter with their tongues. I wonder if you've noticed something. These people are deceptive, no truth in their mouths. Their hearts are destruction, meaning they're treacherous. They are doers of all forms of wickedness, destruction, vanity. And their throats are open graves. They are bloodthirsty, they are treacherous. They flatter with their tongues. They speak lies. They are evil, and they flatter with their tongues. And remember when I told you that there is this boundary of Yahweh, and these evil people cannot enter the boundary of Yahweh. For the boastful shall not stand before you. You hate lawlessness. You destroy those who speak pseudos or lies, and the man of blood and the man of deception you abhor. These people are those things. They cannot enter. The petition is, God, these people are trying to lead me astray from the path that you've set me on, the path of your righteousness. I beseech you to lead me in your righteousness, to make your way straight, to make your way as easy as walking a straight line for me. But David in verse 10 doesn't stop with this. In verse 10, he curses these people. Make them bear their guilt, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Because of their many transgressions, cast them out, for they have provoked you. In Psalms, we should not be afraid of these things. David is praying, but he's also expressing anger here, which seems counter the teaching of Jesus, who told us to love our enemies. But the one wonderful thing about the Psalms is they teach us how to feel our emotions in the presence of God. So David is saying, make them bear their guilt, make them fall by their own counsels. Because of their many transgressions, cut them out, for they have rebelled against you. He is pleading his case before his judge. That's verse 3. He's pleading his case before his judge. So he's saying they have provoked you, rightfully judge them. He's praying for justice. But then he turns around to those who are in the covenant of God. But let those who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them ever sing for joy. Spread your protection over them, and so that those who love your name may exalt in you. Make your presence with them. Because the reason, he says, because those who love your name should exalt in you. Why does David say this? Let those who take refuge in you rejoice, and let them sing for joy. Spread your protection over them, so that those who love your name may exalt in you. Why did David say this? Because he blesses the righteous, because the Lord blesses the righteous. So from the start, it seems like David is groaning in pain and is in desperation, but at the end we see that his anger or cursing or his lament is encircled by the affirmation that God hears my voice in the morning, and God is a God who's present with me, and then God blesses the righteous. So I am covered by the reality that God would answer my call, and God would provide for me. How should we, so to answer the question, how should we respond to the seductions of evil men that tell us that lying is a better way to live? We should pray to the Lord when we feel these things to lead us, for him to lead us in his righteousness. So who saves us from our enemies? Who preserves us from our enemies, from the wiles of those who remove us from his presence, is the Lord who leads us in righteousness. And I pray that we see this in God as we continue our lives.